Hey guys, it's Brad with Arborview Properties. So it happened again and again. And I made another video about this, and I'm gonna keep making videos about this. But we just had a seller strangely butt dial us that we've been speaking to for a number of weeks, just to share the story on it. They reached out to us online. They were out of state. They inherited a house here in Georgia, and they were wanting to sell it. And they weren't going to be in town, weren't going to be in town. We followed up. Finally, they said, hey, my sister-in-law or something is going to be driving through Atlanta on whatever date it was, Tuesday, whatever date. If you can meet her there at the property, she'll have a key and she'll let you in to go see the house. We said, great, because we've been trying to follow up with her. It was in an area we wanted to buy. So, we said, great, we'll go check it out for sure. So scheduled our guy Joel to go out there on that date and meet her there at, it was like 1 p.m. or something like that. And anyways, so she's on her way, and we go to meet her there at the house, and we show up, and there's another investor there, and he's hanging a lockbox on the door, and he says, hey guys, we already got this thing under contract, so sorry. And they were putting a lockbox on the door, and they had a key. And then we look at the lady that met us there, and she's like, I don't know anything about this. I was just told to give you the key to let you in the house. So I'm here to let you in the house. So we immediately call the guy, and he says, I haven't signed a contract with anybody, so I don't really know what's going on here. Let me check with my wife and make sure that she didn't sign a contract with somebody, but he was the executor of the estate, so he's the only one that could technically sign a contract with anybody. His wife wasn't allowed to sign unless she forged his signature or something, and husband and wives do that all the time. But we said, well, what the heck, man? Like, you told us to meet you at the house at this time, and we met you at the house at that time. We were prepared to give him an offer. Well, then about an hour later, I get that deal emailed me to my email box. I have an email box where other investors can kind of sort of sell deals that they have. And I get that deal emailed me about an hour later. And I'm like, and they offered the property to us for sale for it was like $40,000 or $50,000 more than what we were about to offer that seller. And I ran the numbers on it, and I'm like, this price just doesn't even make any sense. Like, here's the bottom line. Us investors, this is just a math problem to us. That's it. We don't live in these houses. It's literally for an investment. Are we going to make a return on investment? Yes, buy it. No return on investment? No, don't buy it. It's just that simple. It's just a math problem. We look at what properties are selling for in the area, and right now, as the market is changing, those prices are starting to come down. So we're having to play this projection game of how much more are prices going to come down? Are they going to keep dropping, or are they going to flatten out? I don't really know. I'm not sure. I don't have a crystal ball, so I can't tell you that. But right now, wow, a loud truck driving by. Right now, the trend is that prices are starting to come down. So the hot market that we dealt with last year is over with. It's done. There's no more 25 offers on the first day going $50,000 over asking price. That's not happening anymore. We just sold one of our flips that we put on the market about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and it went for $3,000 under our list price. If it was 3 months ago, that property would have probably gone for $30,000 over list price. But we sold it for under list price. We had 2 strong offers. That was it. We had a lot of showings, but we only had 2 offers in the first week. It was on the market for an entire week before we got 2 strong offers. So that goes, and it was in a fantastic area, very desirable neighborhood, very desirable area. So anyways, what happened with this deal is we called the guy back, and he says, oh, I sold it to somebody else. Or no, he never said he sold it to anybody else, but we saw this other person trying to sell it. The number that they were trying to sell it for just didn't make sense. The numbers just didn't work. At their asking price, there was no profit. Literally on this deal, my projected profit that I needed to make on this deal, because it was a pretty extensive rehab that would have taken, I don't know, probably 4 months. So we were projecting trying to make about $40,000 profit. That's generally what we try to make. We try to market at about $10,000 per month. So if a project's going to take us 4 months, I need to make $40,000 in profit because that's $10,000 per month, right? So it sounds like a lot of money to the average person, but it's actually not that much money because there's a lot of costs involved in that, and the taxes that we pay are really, really high. So it sounds like a high number to a lot of people, but it's really actually not. That's just sort of an average profit margin for a flip. Because we have a lot of other expenses behind the scenes that you don't even know about. So anyways, $40,000. So he's asking $40,000, or it was $50,000 more than what we had offered the person. So there, if I had bought the deal from what he was asking for it, I would have made zero profit. In fact, if the market keeps going down, I probably would have lost money on that deal. So I don't know how he even came up with that. So anyways, we wait a few weeks and nothing happens. And then the seller butt dials us today. Guess what happened? That other investor backed out of their contract. They couldn't perform on the deal that they promised them because they tried to promise them this high number up here. And there are so many investors out there that call themselves investors. And also, this person was an out-of-state investor. They don't even live here in Georgia. They live in another state. And all they do is cold call people on the phone, ask them if they want to sell their house. And then they look at some numbers on Zillow real quick. They don't even look at the house, and they say, we'll give you this price. And then they send people out. This is literally their strategy. Listen to this. This is exactly their strategy. They're going to cold call you. You're going to say, yes, I want to sell my house. They're going to say, they're going to ask you what you want, and then they're going to make you an offer. You accept that offer. And then what they're going to do is they're going to try to wholesale the property to somebody else, which there's nothing wrong with wholesaling. It happens all the time. But they're going to try to wholesale it to someone who does live in Georgia. That person's going to come over and look at the house and say, hey, Mr. Investor guy, this house needs a lot more work than what you told me. I can only give you this price. And then they're going to come back to you as the seller, and they're going to say, hey, sorry, this deal's not working out. We're going to need a price reduction, or we're going to have to terminate our contract. And they're going to ask you for a price reduction. They're going to ask you to drop your price by, $50,000 or $40,000, because all they did at the beginning was they just baited you in to getting the house under contract so they could go try to sell it. Because right now, what they're hoping on is that there might be some poor sucker who might be willing to overpay for that house to them, and they might be able to make a little profit in the middle. And for the last 2 years, that strategy has worked out really, really well for these people, because there were a lot of really poor suckers that didn't know any better, that were overpaying for houses. And it didn't matter, because in 2-3 months when they go to sell the house, the property's going to be worth, it's going to sell for $50,000 over list price with multiple offers, and they'll make a profit because of that. But not because they actually know how to truly run accurate numbers. So that's exactly what's going to happen. That's what's happening in these scenarios, is these guys are still sticking to these old strategies that worked the last 2 years. But in the last 2 or 3 months, since the market has corrected and changed direction, that strategy doesn't work anymore. It's not working for them. And these out-of-state wholesalers and these other guys that they're one-trick ponies and all they do is wholesale properties, they are getting stuck with these deals, and they're terminating contracts left and right. They can't perform on what they promise. So what I'm telling you, and the gist of this message, is that just understand who you're dealing with. Understand the person that you're talking to on the phone, on the other side of the phone. Are they a true legitimate investor? And don't get your hopes up on these high offers that they're promising, because it's not always true. Because if it doesn't close, you didn't make any money. You made zero. If it doesn't close, if they back out of the deal, you didn't sell the property. And then what happens is they got your hopes up thinking that you could get $300,000 for your house. And then all these other offers are coming in from other investors at like $225,000. And you're like, well, these other guys are trying to screw me. But reality, the guys that you think are trying to screw you are actually the ones that know how to really do their numbers. And they're the ones that are just like, hey, this is just how it works out. I'm sorry. But this is what I need to make. They're not greedy investors that are trying to eke all your money out. They're literally just making you an offer based off of a math problem and a formula. And that's how it's coming to. But this other guy over here, his whole strategy this whole time was to never sell to us guys that actually know what we're doing and know how to accurately run numbers. Their strategy was to sell to this new guy that went to a real estate seminar last week, and he has a lot of money, and he's dumb and has too much money, and he overpays for a property. That's who they were selling it to. Well, guess what? All those guys are gone. They're out of the game now, because they're just gone. So because they probably lost all their money on the first deal that they did. So they're out of the game now. So just pay attention to who you're dealing with. If you have a house you need to sell, click on the link below. We're an honest company. We truly try to make sure that we're solving your problem and trying to give you the best and most accurate offer as possible. And we try, if at all possible, to not come back and renegotiate you on the offer that we make you. We want to make sure that we do it right the first time. That's one of our core values, is do it right the first time. So click on the link below in the description, or you can go to our website, 770-810-5715. Oh, look who's here. My little man just came home. Hey, buddy. So thanks again, guys. Have a great day.